Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer, producers Bobby and Vinny helping us out as we get you ready for the Grade 2 Troy. This one's going to go on Sunday over at Saratoga. It's going to be race number 8 on August the 9th. Let's take a look at the field for this one. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. I mean, Troy right now, I saw the Odyssey last week, Mike. I had Troy on in the background the last couple of days. I'm doing
Yeah.
some of my work. So I'm
Okay.
feeling Troy right now. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the field here. I think they should be flying early on, right? It just looks like there are 4 or 5 horses in here that are really, really quick turf sprinters. And I'm just projecting it to be a fast early pace.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of horses in here. It just feels like they're at their absolute best when they're right up front and involved on the pace in here. And something's going to have to give up there. It seems like I don't know if some of these horses are going to try to rate this time, and we'll see how that works out if that happens. But if they don't, it just feels like there's going to be a real scramble on for the lead.
You can take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. I mean, when you have horses like Dancing Buck, who's really quick, Doncho, who's quick, Coppola used to fly. He
Yeah.
hasn't even been able to get the lead in a couple of his last starts because they've been going so fast. Waralo is fast. John the Beer Man, he's really quick. Even the horses from the outside, it wouldn't shock to see
Yeah.
Rezasrolex or Determined Kingdom being close to this early pace. So lots of horses who do their best running on the front end. Maybe it does set up for the horse off the pace. Dancing Buck is a horse who I expect to run better second start back after a 7-month layoff, but he can fly early. And with so many others in here who also can fly, him being down on the inside with a lot of speed to his outside, I'm a little bit concerned, Mike. He's 8 years old now, and maybe he is beyond his best. So
Yeah.
I've liked this horse and I've played him a few times
Me
throughout
too.
his career, but it's usually in spots where there's not that much early speed in the races because those are the races that set up well for him. He's going to really have to earn it if he wins a race like this.
Yeah, I agree. I've been a big fan of his for a long time too. I would just say, forget about his last race off the layoff there.
Yeah,
I'm not. I guess they just thought he needed one. They didn't even try to make the lead in
no.
that race, and that they were not going fast in there. So I'm kind of surprised the way they rode him last time. He's way better than that, Gino. But your other points are very well taken. I personally believe that he's just best when he's on the lead, and if they send him from the rail here with all that speed to his outside, it just feels like it can't really work out for him. But listen, maybe he comes out of there running. He falls into the pocket here with behind some other speeds and still fires a good shot. If he can pull that kind of trip, he can win here.
26 Black is next up. And this is a horse who was like solid about a year and a half ago. But man, you look at his last 7 races or so
Yep.
since last year's Troy, when he was the runner up, he has 3 times been over 100 Buyer speed figure. The only time he didn't hit the board in that stretch of 7 races was when he was fourth in the Grade 1 Jaipur in a really, really strong race that day. He has just leveled himself up, Mike. Just much, much better and much more consistent and much more top level graded stakes type horse than he was earlier on in his career. And he just looks like he's going to get a great setup in here. I don't have a whole lot of knocks on him. Here's his victory in the Harvey Pack last time out, beating a this is a group that's a little tougher, but a similar type group.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just based on the current form, this horse, he's way the horse to beat in here. He's supposed to get the right setup. His recent races are excellent. I mean, even if you want to go back to the race off the layoff down at Aqueduct where Waralo beat him, this
Yeah.
horse, he was best in that race. That trip just didn't really work out for him, but he was best off the layoff. He ran great in the Jaipur. He was even better last time, just dominating the Harvey Pack. This race is supposed to set up very well for his running style. He's the horse to beat.
Doncho is next up. He's a multiple stakes winner. He's won 2 of his 3 races this year and 4 of 6 dating back to last year. He's really quick, though. Another one. He's shown he can sit off a little bit, but he wants to be right up in the mix early. I respect the recent form. I, again, though, don't really love how this race sets up for him with tons of other speed in here on both sides of him. So, viable contender in really nice form, but it's a tough spot for him.
I think so too, especially when he is basically co-favorite in here with 26
Yeah.
Black. I would just much rather have the two than this horse. And I'm not knocking Doncho. His overall form is very solid, and he did at least he showed two back, Gino, in that Churchill race that he will sit. He sat
Yep.
on the rail behind the lead in that race. He came clear in the stretch. He drove it down. You know, I wasn't. I know it got a fast figure there. I really wasn't blown away with that performance, but he got the job done, and he came right back and he won again last time. You know, just a race that he really couldn't possibly lose at Horseshoe Indianapolis. So I don't know, man. I feel like he looks great on paper, and I'm still not sure how good he actually is.
Totally agree with him in this spot. Coppola is next up. He's a multiple stakes winning turf sprinter. He used to be one of the quicker horses around,
Yep.
hasn't been able to get the lead in some fast races recently. But I will say, even at his best, when he was in his best form, I don't know if he was good enough to win a race like this. He kind of dominated races down at Gulfstream Park a lot at the 5 furlong turf course, and he really ran well there. So this to me seems like a pretty tough spot. He does come into the Carlos Martin barn, who can absolutely
Mhm.
get horses ready to fire. Maybe that's a point worth making. But yeah, I don't know if he's at this level, and I don't really know if he's a closer. He's passed
Right.
horses lately, but I like some of the other actual closers a little bit better than him.
Yeah, I agree with that. He just seems like he's just best as a speed horse. That's probably not going to work here. I'm glad that you mentioned too that a lot of 5 furlong work for this horse. He's
Yeah.
1 for 15 in his career going 5.5 furlongs. Like he wants to go shorter and he wants to be on the lead. That being said, he's run actually pretty well in his last two
Yeah.
starts from off the pace. He hasn't run great, but he's run pretty well.
It's not like he's done nothing, right? He's
Yeah.
shown a different dimension. He's actually been in the race and passed some horses late. So
Yep.
we move to Waralo, another quick horse in here who is a really nice New York bred. He's finished in the exacta in his last 7 races. He's a win machine. He's an 11-time winner. All of the last 7 races have been on the turf, and he's finished in the top 2 in all of them. And if you want to use 26 Black as a measuring stick, he's been right there with 26 Black in 2 different
Yep.
situations. But those situations, I think, with a horse like this, are worth pointing out the specificity, being specific, right? The
Yep.
specificity of each one, because the races where there isn't as much early speed, he's always going to run better in those races, and he can kind of go out front. He can dictate things. He can run his race. He's another where we've gone through 4 horses so far that are really, really quick. He's going to be right in that mix early. Maybe he's one of the quicker, but man, it's going to be a tough task for him with John the Beer Man right next door, with Doncho to the
Yep.
inside, with Dancing Buck also right there, with a lot of these really fast horses.
Yeah, it just seems like a one-way speed kind of horse. It's a very tough setup for a horse who just shows up every single time and really gives everything he has every single time. Again, his win 2 back when he beat 26 Black, and I don't want to knock Warlow in any way because he ran a great race that day, but 26 Black was a little unlucky not to beat him that day. And then this horse they just did not go fast on the lead last time, and he had all the best of it. And he took advantage.
I think I was trying to create a word there. I was specific. I was in specificity.
I knew where
What
you were
did I
going.
say? Maybe we'll pull out a thesaurus or a dictionary later, see if I can find what I was trying to say. John the Beer Man's the next one up, Mike. I used to see videos of Mike the Beer Man walking around at
Yeah,
Saratoga and other places answering questions. So I know you might be a beer man yourself, but
yeah.
Johnny's in great form right now. I mean, his last 3 races since the long layoff, which was almost a 2-year layoff that he had. He changes barns following that. He wins. And in this race, in the grade 1 Jaipur, he runs a bang up third against the best turf sprinters in the US. He
Mhm.
just goes a little too quick early and gets, run down by some nice horses here. But a repeat of that effort would put him right in the mix with this group. It's just, again, the concern about race shape with a horse like this. Is he going to have to do a little too much early and then be a bit tired late like he was right there?
Yeah, exactly. Listen, he's found himself as a turf sprinter here off the very long lap. His last 3 races are all really good. He acquitted himself very well in the Jaipur last time. I mean, they didn't really make him work that hard. I didn't think to make the lead in there, but man, he was still hanging around at the end of that race against some better horses than this. So he's a dangerous horse right back.
Up next, it's the 7 Works for Me. Mike, we previewed the Jaipur on June the 6th, and you like this horse a little bit, and he just didn't get a great trip that day. He didn't get much of a shot. It was in a tough group. I feel like the way this race sets up, it's a little bit less from a class standpoint. He's not facing those top tier grade 1 horses. And he showed us back at Keeneland what he's capable of when the race sets up for him. He won really nicely. He earned a 99 buyer speed figure. A couple of those races last year at Saratoga are good, including the one behind Bring the Band Home, who is in excellent form right there. I just think he looks like he's going to get a great setup on paper along with 26 Black. If you're telling me one of those horses is going to be the favorite and this one could be like 6-1 or so, I'm always going to go with the horse that's the bigger price.
Yeah, me too. I just feel like I have to give him another chance in here. I liked his form last year. He only ran 3 times last year, but he ran great in all those races. And then I thought he had an excuse at Tampa off the layoff in February. Maybe ran the best race of his life, winning at Keeneland 2 starts back. And I did like him, and I bet him in the Jaipur last time. Gino, he got slammed at the start of that race by the winner coming out of the gate, and he just wound up back out of position in that race. To me, he never had a chance in there. I have to give him a chance to rebound here.
Never seemed comfortable that day. Rezasrolex is the next one up. Just another win machine in here. He's 15 for 22 lifetime with 4 seconds. A really cool horse. He spent the bulk of his career at Gulfstream Park. Another one that wants to be forward in here. He can sit off and pass horses a little bit if need be. I'm just not sure if he's at his best at 5.5 on the turf against a group like this. That's my major concern. You can see he's run well on the grass. He's run well on the synthetic, but he's done his best work at 5 on the turf or on the synthetic. So this might be a little bit farther than his best against a really tough group with other speed. I hate knocking a horse like this because
Yeah.
he's so good and he's done so much great work through the years, but this is a really tough spot for him on paper.
I agree. I mean, we'll see. This is a serious class test for this horse. So we'll see if he passes it. But I'm with you. I'm not knocking anything that he's done recently. His recent form is excellent. He has shown that he'll sit off other horses and still produce a finish in the stretch. So maybe he can pull one of those trips in here at a very fair price. I didn't listen. He's not going to show up anywhere in my picks, Gino, but I didn't totally dismiss this horse.
Yeah, I agree on that. And we round things out with the Tournament Kingdom. He's going to step up now after back-to-back victories against softer company. He's a really honest 7-year-old. He's a 12-time winner. And I want to say, it's a wide draw, might be a tough post. He won from a tough post back in June at Saratoga when he was way out wide in a race that he really didn't have any business winning, and he just got up there late. So yeah, while he maybe looks a little lesser than some of the others on paper, he's a really honest horse who does punch up a little bit sometimes. Could see by that win. I think he was at 10-1 double-digit odds at Saratoga 2 starts back. Something like that. He'd still need to run a little bit faster, but at least we know he's capable of showing speed, sitting off a little bit. If he has to go a little bit wide, he's done that and he's won. So, another 15-1 shot, that wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world seeing him run well here.
I agree, and I'm glad you brought up the race too, because I guess if you're a figure player and you're looking at his 4 races so far this year, you're just thinking, he's just not fast enough to beat these horses. He's got back races that give him a real chance in here, and he ran way better than it looks when he won 2 starts back. That's a very tough trip he pulled in that race, and he won anyway.
You always remember those races when you have the horse who was second, right? I had spiced up that day and he got me. So I definitely remember not thinking he was going to win, and he still got the job done. There's our field for the Grade 2 Troy. It's going to go as race number 8 at Saratoga on Sunday. We'd always love to hear from you out there as we round things out and move to selection. So make sure anytime you like, subscribe, post your comments on the YouTube channel. That helps us quite a bit. The show gets shared around a little bit more, gets a little bit more engagement. So always a great way to support us if you want to do so. Mike, let's move to selections for this one. I think we both landed in the same direction here. Yeah. So what I will ask you, what would be like a winnable price for you to bet on in here? What's your level that you don't want to go past price wise for works for me?
I want 5-1 at least.
Agreed.
Works for me. Let's get this horse home. We both have him on top. Let's see if he can work out the right trip here and see if he's good enough. It's not going to be easy, and at least in my opinion, it's not going to be easy for him to beat 26 Black, the 2. But if the trip works out, I think he could be right there.
Trip works out. Pratt is aboard. He can get him in the right direction. You pointed out he just never seemed comfortable last time out. Maybe he was a little flat too off of the really big performance, got bumped at the start. I think there are a lot of positives about him. Anything 5-1 or above, I completely agree. We both have the same top 2, and then we go in different directions with some other price horses behind. So 7239 for Mike, 7265 for me. Don't forget to drop your selections in the comment section below. Best of luck when you're playing the Troy on Sunday.